Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball. We had a big trade go down, a big fun one. We're going to talk all about it. Burns, not on the Brewers. Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball. Thank you very much for joining us today. It's brought to you by SeatGeek. My name is Jimmy, sitting here with Jake, Trevor, coming to you from California, and producer BBD behind the dish. Corbin Burns traded from the Brewers to the Orioles, and some other moves that we have yet to discuss will be discussed on the show today. Jake, how are you? How was your weekend?
James, Trev, BBD, everyone tuning in. Thank you guys. And subscribe. Why not? Weekend was good. Glad to put January in my rear view. Didn't love January this year. I don't know. Thought it had some kickstart juice. It did not. And we are, 9 days out from pitchers and catchers. We still have 4 big free agents out there. I think there might be a couple more trades. And this Corbin Burns to Baltimore has me a little worried for my Yanks, Trev, but I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great as well. I can't wait to talk about this trade. I think it's fascinating. I think these two teams kind of line up against each other in certain ways. We'll talk about it a lot. I did say that I did something dangerous last night. So I think now is probably the time to talk about it. I'm headed home from the airport. Torrential downpour in Los Angeles right now. I'm on the 405, Jake, your favorite freeway.
Yeah.
Other than the 5.
Thought I saw you there.
All of a sudden, I see bright red in front of me. A lot of brake lights, right? But then, to my right, I see headlights. Now, usually the headlights are on the left, right? Because that's the way the traffic's going. They were on the right. People were driving the wrong way on the 405. And I said, what the heck is going on? I got up there, saw those brake lights. You know what I did? I joined them.
Yeah.
I drove the wrong way last night on the 405 and exited. I guess there was something. I don't even know what happened. Maybe a flood, maybe a mudslide, maybe an accident. But I know I avoided an extra 2 hours at about midnight last night with my kids on the freeway because I turned around. I'm very proud of myself for doing this.
Maybe they were giving away free money.
What does that mean?
Maybe like a truck spilled over.
Could have been a nice thing.
Oh, shoot. So now you're saying I messed up.
Yeah, a truck could have spilled over with tons of good cereal in it.
Dude, it's 2024. How have you not Googled 405 accident?
I did. I went on X and freaking
Nice.
looked it up.
Well, wasn't.
All I know is I saved a lot of time last night, and I did something that, come on. When's the last time, or have you ever driven the wrong way on a freeway? I'm pretty proud of myself.
How are
That's
you,
my story,
James?
James. What's up with you?
I'm doing well. I got a new car, and I drove it to work today, and no traffic. So that's
a Bugatti.
Nice. Yeah, Bugatti.
That sounds like the car you would drive.
Did you get Dodge Dingo?
Dodge Dingo, yeah.
Nice. A RAV4?
No, that's what I was driving.
Those are sick.
I turned
Chop
that in.
it down a little bit.
Yeah. You want to talk about the Brewers, Jake?
The more exciting part is the Baltimore Orioles. Man, I know the Baseball Today, well, actually not the Baseball Today guys. Chris Rose and Jolly Olive went live after it happened. Because Chris Rose is all about that live game today. Make sure you go check out Baseball Today live. Corbin Burns is an Oriole. I was going to say I owe Oriole fans an apology because I was like, I haven't seen this team do the all-in move, so I just never thought they would. And maybe there's something with new ownership. I don't know if they've got their paws in there yet, but they went in for 1 year of Corbin Burns, which that's what you can expect for now. I know Orioles fans think maybe he'll be the guy that they re-sign and go all in on. He's a Boris guy, so he's going to hit free agency. And I know even when we talked to Corbin Burns, what was that, like 2 years ago, he was kind of looking forward to free agency. So the Orioles get their ace. It's when you looked on paper at the roster, it was the thing that it felt like the team was missing. Even though Kyle just being bradish last year, I think 4th in the Cy Young or something like that.
Kind of bradish.
Grayson Rod looking for the breakout. But Corbin Burns, 200 innings last year, a 3.39 in what was considered a down year for him. Goes over for DL Hall, who was and is an interesting left-handed pitching prospect. He kind of faded out, but he's kind of come back. But he kind of did that in the bullpen. But it seems like the Brewers are going to let him start, and they've got a long history of tapping into pitching. And then Joey Ortiz, who's a potential Willy Adames replacement at some point, another top 100 infielder that supposedly has the contact tool. We'll see what else is there. And they get like a first-round pick, which, Trev, I was laughing when that happened because the other day you were saying, you're like, man, if they start trading picks in baseball and like we have this weird compensatory pick lane that you can do it. So I don't know. Aiming wide, it's like an okay haul for the Brewers, but it's a tough message to the team and like feels like we've said that before on this show. I think it opens up the Central, and on the other side in the East, I think it closes the East, if I'm being honest.
It is like, I think it's very interesting on both sides of this trade. I know that's how trades work. There's always two sides to it. But for the Orioles, I mean, yes, we are seeing them somewhat kind of push their chips to the table, even though they didn't really have to give up what we'd consider like going all in. They haven't done that yet. Like DL Hall worked in the bullpen for them last year. He's been a starter all his minor league career. How are you feeling about the hair for DL Hall? Is it good hair or weird hair?
It's perfect
kind
Brewer
of in between.
Hair. It's perfect Brewer hair.
You think so? Okay. I kind of want to go Brewers first, I think, and then maybe get into it. At least that's where my mind is at. What does this mean now for Adames? What does this mean for Devin Williams in the back end of their bullpen? Like, they always kind of do this, dude. Like, this is their MO. Let's get these players. We understand they're most likely going to walk. We can find talent, develop talent, but we can't afford to keep the talent. That's kind of what's going on in Milwaukee. So they're always looking to, when a guy's 1 year, 2 years out from free agency, they're always looking to do like something like this to quote unquote thread the needle and stay competitive without. When's the last time Milwaukee pushed the chips to the table? We've been asking them to do that for so long. And then my mind goes, what do they tell Rhys Hoskins? Like, when Rhys signs there, do they tell him, yeah, we're keeping these guys, we're going to go for it? Or do they let him in on the plan? Because if I'm Rhys now, I'm like, come on, man. Like, I thought I had Corbin Burns at the top of the rotation here. I understand there's a chance maybe during the season that he would get traded. That's depending on how we did at the first part of the season. So there's so many aspects to this for the Brewers. I do believe now they're 100% shopping Adames and Williams because, like you mentioned, they got a semi-replacement for Adames. He's a free agent after this year. Williams has an extra year after 2025, but he's a reliever. Like, I almost wouldn't even fault them for trading him because that is a volatile position, and I think he's going to be good. He doesn't rely on velocity, so I think he could be good for a long time. But this is kind of just their MO, and I think if you're on the team or a fan of the Brewers, you're like, man, like, we had this window. We never really pushed the chips in the table until Rhys Hoskins is probably what? Is that the biggest move that they made offensively in this window with all this pitching? And it seems like we kind of, they want that stability and the consistency of competing every year. But I think they had more than that with the starting pitchers they've had over the last 3 or 4 years, and they made the playoffs, but didn't really ever push them all in. So I don't know, man. I'd be sad if I was a Brewers fan.
Well, my question is, and as a Yankee fan, I guess lately we lean more towards the Brewers, but the Yankees are kind of a mixture of the Brewers and what the Orioles are doing now. So my question is, the Orioles clearly reset. They tanked or whatever, right? They bottomed out. They didn't acquire. They what's the term? That's
tanked.
They didn't
rebuild.
Long term.
They did a rebuild.
Full rebuild.
Yeah, they did a full rebuild. Right. So the Brewers are saying that they don't want to do a full rebuild. They want to be competitive every single year. And they've made the playoffs the last 5 out of 6 years. But the cost of doing that is never losing pieces without getting something back. So they knew that Burns was going to go to free agency. He was going to go to whoever pays the most because he's a Boris client. So they're going to lose him for nothing. And if they want to stay competitive, they need to trade him in for 3 guys that may help right away and continue it. As a fan, I don't have history with either, but I'd rather, I think, be the Orioles and be like, I will accept a rebuild if you promise me that when we're good, you're going to replenish the team and go get people. And I think like the Astros did that. The Cubs rebuild was successful. We've seen successful quick rebuilds. But the Brewers, like, if you want to, you're going to be competitive. That's great. But you've lost the wild card series like the last 4 out of 5. You went to the CS in 2018 and we're game 7, and that's awesome. But like, if you want to win in the playoffs, you need guys like Burns. So I don't know. You know, some Brewers fans might be like, no, we're competitive every year. We'll always have a chance at winning the division. And then they believe the playoffs is a crapshoot. I don't believe the playoffs is a total crapshoot. I know that it's got some elements of that. You still need studs, especially pitching. So I guess like fans of both, Orioles fans, when you're going through that rebuild, would you have rather just been like competitive enough? And also the Brewers division allows them to be competitive enough where other divisions you can't do that. You have to kind of rebuild and go all in. But it is a move that the Orioles, I like the quotes from Elias who said, we've been talking about this since the World Series ended. Corbin Burns is exactly what we needed. We were in a dogged pursuit of him the entire offseason. You like to hear that if you're an Orioles fan.
I wonder how many teams were in on him.
Dogged pursuit, yeah.
Wow.
I like that too.
Yeah.
Do you think this was like, it seems to me if there was several teams, jockeying, another good word, for Corbin Burns in the offseason, we would have heard about it and maybe heard some packages, especially now after the trade has come out. Usually that's how it comes. Like there's be leaks of information. We haven't really heard that yet. So I'm very curious to see or to know how many teams were like fully in pursuit of Corbin Burns. Like were the Dodgers one of them? Or like there's so many teams that need a guy like this, and the package I think is good. I actually do think the package will let the Brewers continue to be competitive at the pace they want to be, but it didn't like blow me away. And I understand it's just for 1 year, but I want to know who else was trying to pry Corbin from the Brewers.
Well, that's the interesting thing. I guess for every team, if you're not an Orioles or Brewers fan, that's kind of what you're wondering, because there's still guys out there that may be dealt. And like, well, how many times have we heard Dylan Cease? The White Sox are asking for a king's ransom. It's 2 years of Dylan Cease. Mm-hmm. I think for 1 year, you lean Corbin Burns is the better starting pitcher. He's just been more consistent. He's got the sigh. Cease has had a couple fluctuating years, but he's very good, very talented, and you get him for 2 years. That the price for 1 year of Corbin Burns looks like it was essentially 3-ish top 100 prospects. Hall was, and he's kind of resurging again. Ortiz just kind of broke out, and they get that pick, which, kind of love that. Control your own destiny with that one. This felt, unfortunately, so Brewers had hurt. Like like Jim was saying, they traded away Hader. One of the guys in that trade was Estuary Ruiz, who helped them get William Contreras after that. And they've got another guy in that trade, Robert Gasser, who's probably going to be pitching innings for them this year. And DL Hall and Ortiz, you're probably going to see them on the Brewers for the next 3-4 years. So they're, even if they're one-war players, that's how they view these kind of things. Like, all right, we're going to still be reaping the rewards of it, even though I was getting on the Brewers hype train, man. I was kept looking at the Central like, okay, the Cardinals, let's find out this year. the Reds, maybe they can take a jump, and I sneaky like some of their signings. The Cubs were supposed to be the resurgent team, and I think DraftKings still had them as the NL Central. They still haven't upgraded yet. They're still down from last season where they won 83 games, and the Brewers 192, and I was proud of them for keeping Burns and being hey, maybe this Chiriot kid's a stud, and they signed Reese. And now, I don't know, the rotation, Freddie Peralta, Wade Miley as their 2, Colin Rea, Joe Ross, and DL Hall. I don't know. I know the Brewers, they've had a history of winning, and this year's going to be a big test for them. I know we laughed at no Stearns and no Counsell, but they think they're about to refill the pipeline and have another window where they look to win 90 games a year, and they're hoping for that one postseason everything clicks. This is one of the big test years for me because, 2 weeks before spring training to move Corbin Burns, that hurts, man. That hurts.
Yeah, Matt Arnold had a bunch of, I think they were good quotes about this, explaining the process and why they're doing it and all of that. Whether you agree with it or not, at least he was kind of forthright and wasn't, he didn't act like something else happened. He's yeah, we had to trade this guy. This is what we do. We want to continue to stay competitive. I think they do deserve, some praise for signing a guy like Jackson Chiriot and banking on his talent. And I just think, and I haven't been on a bunch of, I wasn't on winning teams really, but the times where we were in contention and you didn't make the push, it hurts, man. And I feel like that's just kind of been what's been going on there. They're in it. They're in the playoffs. They just needed something to get them over the edge. And what I was trying to think of, when's the last time that happened for them? Was it CeCe when they went and traded for him? Was that the last time they were okay,
yeah,
let's go get a dog?
But that's even a rental is a little different than a free agent.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Well, for the Orioles side of things, it's awesome. I was talking about, who was I talking to in the office? Someone that's an employee here, maybe Mike, that's a Yankees fan. And we were saying Jake's pained because of the division. That was not my first reaction. I still don't see the Orioles as, and this isn't to knock them at all. They are very good. They're better than, they're going to be very good. They just won the division, so it's not that. But it's I'm still happy for them. Seeing their fans, how Camden came alive. Yeah. And I'm thank God. That's a beautiful ballpark, and it's a really good fan base, but they were just dormant. And I love seeing the young kids. I like teams doing a rebuild in this manner. And then secondly, I'm oh shit, wait. This is a bad thing. Then it came to me, but I was talking, I think it was Mike Cole. We were talking about that in the office. My first reaction was damn, that's cool. Good job, Orioles. And I was oh fuck, we got to face Burnsy all the time. He's really good. His only appearance against the Yankees, 8 innings pitched, 0. I think he faced a crazy bad lineup when he did that.
I have the Baby Birds as the easy AL East favorites. I think Tampa is taking a step back. I think with their rotation that let them have a perfect April last year, all of those guys are hurt. Springs is out, Rasmussen's hurt, Glasnow got traded. The Rays are going to pitch enough. They also banged last year. But I don't know. I don't fully see that thump. They've got some question marks. Obviously, the Wander situation hurt them. Toronto, I love their pitching. It's actually their lineup that's kind of weirded me out as we're about to get to TPP season, although they just signed Justin Turner. But they need that lefty so bad. They need that impact lefty. And Toronto, I don't know, as much as we've always loved the talent, they still haven't had that bang season. Our Yanks are coming off their worst year in 30 years. They had Juan Soto and Verdugo, and that's nice, but the pitching has some serious depth question marks that can come alive soon.
Have you seen who the actual favorite is?
It's the Yankees, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's just gambling and a lot of Yankee fans going, it's the Yanks, babe. The Orioles, this was still the start last year. We haven't seen Jackson Holiday. And this dude, I know you're not supposed to talk about kids like this, but what he's doing is freak show stuff. Like, we haven't seen him yet. They've got another layer of prospects that they haven't tapped into, whether they want to, and hey, yeah, we might have room for you, Heston Kjerstad, or are they going to make the other trade and keep adding? Like, guys that were really good for them are now pushed to, like, the bullpen. Like, Tyler Wells had a really nice season, and right now they don't need him in the rotation. Like, Cedric Mullins has become a bonus piece for them on offense that, yeah, I was kind of in on the Orioles, and I thought, it'd be a nice AL East season. Like, let's see who else clicks. Hadn't mentioned the Red Sox yet. And then they added Corbin Burns, who in a contract year at that stadium, new league with a left field that doesn't end, like his ERA might be like 2.5 next year. So I don't know. I'm happy for the Birds. I think the AL East is theirs to lose, and they're like stacked.
I think I'm going to segue us into our next topic a little bit, but I do have a question. I am worried. I like the Orioles. Obviously, this is great for them. I can't wait to see Jackson Holiday. I am excited about that. He's a handsome stud, shortstop. You love that. Where's he going to play? What's going on? Was this the new ownership signing off on this, or was this the old ownership signing off?
Elias being in dogged pursuit since the World Series ended. I read one article from the Baltimore Sun. They said they're not related.
Because everyone's like, oh, this new ownership came in and did this. I'm like, no, they didn't, dude. Like they're like still doing paperwork over this. Like this is just the front office operating as its own entity right now. They obviously knew this was they got this signed off on by the Angelos, I'm assuming.
Who might be saying like, hey, we're about to make a move and you're buying the team. You a fan or something like that, but they could try to re-sign Burnsy, the new ownership.
Exactly. That's my point with all this is they're still sitting at like mid-90s for their payroll. Mid-90s for their payroll. Where are the Mets at? What are the Dodgers at? I mean, you could add 5 superstar players if you're trying to match that. They're not going to do that, obviously, but there's a lot of room here. Like, there is a lot of room to add. Now, yes, they're going to have to figure out a way to keep Adley, to keep Gunnar. I mean, I don't even want to start with Jackson Holiday, but hey, go sign him. Just sign him now. Like, get out in front of this. Like, they have a lot of decisions coming up, like a lot of fun, really cool decisions. But like, in the meantime, let's go get that payroll up, another 40 mil. Like, you can do that easily.
No need.
So, I mean, they need bullpen help still. I will say that about the Orioles. I want to see them add huge blow with Bautista being out. Let's figure that whole aspect out, and then I'll be like, yes, 100% AL East front runners.
One of the kids gets one of the team like arbitration buyout extensions before opening day. Like that's the new.
You think so?
New ownership playbook. Like even I don't think they were involved in the Burns trade, but they're getting part credit for that. You lock up one of the kids, and this new ownership group is already like the favorite people in Baltimore.
It seems to me like MLB's been over at the Holidays house filming content. Like, it seems like that's going to happen, right?
Okay.
Would his dad let him? Like, dad's a vet, like understands free agency and the way the business works. It's interesting.
I mean, he's 20 years old, so if he gets this 7-year contract, he could still hit free agency at the right time.
They'd want to do. I think they'd want to, like, if they came to it. What did Churio get? Beebs, can you look that up? I think it was like 880 something, right? Like, does he sign that? You have to, right? You're how old?
Not.
He just got married as a 20-year-old.
He got 882, but there's some funky option stuff. So I think that 82 is the number he's guaranteed at least.
Yeah, the options are the problem, but
yeah, the options get confusing. Jackson Holiday probably doesn't take that. Dad played in the show.
Orioles talk ownership.
Orioles have 3 prospects in the top 50, 5 in the top 100. Keith Law's rankings.
They just came out. My best friend.
I don't enjoy Keith Law's demeanor sometimes and tone, but I do I do put stock into his rankings over anyone else's.
He's good at his job. I'll say that about you, Keith. I still sort of want to fight you.
Well, since I've started watching the Yankees, the way he's talked about Yankees prospects, he's like the only one kind of hit the nail on the head, like along the line of seeing them pan out or not pan out. Like, oh, yeah, okay. That's what he said about him. So I like that. Good for the Orioles.
Has anyone panned out?
No. Besides Judge and Glaber. He was good on Glaber. He's good on Judge. But like Florial, he was like, I don't know why other people have this guy in top prospect.
This is the year. DraftKings. Speaking of this is the year, you know what's happening this weekend, Trev? Super Bowl
the big
58.
game.
Oh, they're all in this year. They're the handshakes. Everyone's happy. Super Bowl 58. DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered. New customers can bet on the big game and turn $5 into $200 instantly in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code TALKIN. New customers can get $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 58. And that's with code TALKIN. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, 21 plus, ages vary by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/football for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
Do have one more thing that I realized we didn't say about the Brewers end of the trade on the number 34 pick that we mentioned a little bit in passing. Like the comp pick they would have gotten for Burns leaving in a year would have been lower than that pick. So they beat just that pick value now, and they got 2 prospects that they're presumably interested in.
Yeah.
They hit the mark that they wanted to hit. This is their game plan, people. If you're a Brewers fan, you understand it. If you're just watching and trying to wrap your head around it, this is what they're trying to do. They want to stay competitive enough at the big league level while keeping their payroll's always.
There's teams that care about the draft picks, and there's teams that don't really care about the draft picks.
I think they care about the draft picks, and they've been able. I feel like they're a team that they're better than average, and maybe even upper echelon. I think in like identifying talent and acquiring talent. I think so.
I agree with that. Yeah. I'm just saying, there's other draft picks are valued wildly differently across the league.
Yeah, Dalton and I were talking this morning about like, if they just made draft picks straight up tradable, which maybe next CBA, but it'd be funny just which you'd see very easily which teams are like, oh, you can take them.
Yeah, I mean the Yankees used to give them away. They didn't care about draft picks at all. Free agents and international signing money is what they would liked. They've changed.
That's the money pot right now.
They've changed a little bit, but yeah,
still need to draft. But.
Trev, I've got a something you mentioned there. You mentioned Willy Adames. You mentioned Devin Williams. Not sure on Devin Williams. I know they traded Hader. You know, they waited up until that deadline. And, you know, that was the first kind of stab. Willy Adames, he's on the last year. I know I was the one pushing, like, if you're the Dodgers, how you could not. And let's see where they're at the deadline, and I think you make a decision then. You know, because of I had a favor with the Brewers because of Jimmy's hamstring injury. So I reached out to the Italian sausage. And I was told that Willy Adames, as we know, not only is he great at shortstop, but he's one of the best personalities in baseball and like good guys that they might want to keep him around even just to Big Brother for at least half a season. So,
okay, yeah, I think he's going to get a qualifying offer, and I don't know how big a trade package would be necessarily for 1 year of his services. I think he's an excellent ball player and would fit on a lot of teams, but I think they would say, let's keep him for that reason, see what's up at the deadline. If anything, we'll just offer him the qualifying offer, get another pick for him. The Devin Williams one is interesting to me because he's the 2 years thing, arguably would demand a bigger package than Corbin Burns, which is kind of crazy if you really think about it, because Corbin Burns is one of the top pitchers in all of baseball. We're talking about starters. But they got some decisions, man.
All right. Go Orioles,
I think
go.
we covered it.
I think we covered it.
We didn't really talk about the ownership change, which is I don't know if what there is there because we don't know what these owners are going to be like, and
Yeah.
I think Orioles fans are rejoicing. For
Yeah.
sure.
I do. I just wonder
Winning
how
the
much of
PR
it was
battle.
the plan, like, hey, we're going to rebuild, and as soon as we show signs of success, we're out. And how did they have it lined up? Did they not have it lined up? There's an article out right now saying the other owners are upset because the price point isn't what they want it to be, but it seems to kind of fall in line. Like the New York market was 2.2 billion, and then Baltimore's 1.7 billion. But what do I know?
That's honestly, it seems light to me, but I'm not an expert in franchise values and all those terms and stuff like that. But there is an interesting aspect about it because they do own Masson, which also controls the Nationals rights, and there's been a feud between that. I'm kind of versed in all these broadcast rights now and streaming rights and all that. I think that was a big part of the sale, and because they have their own network, you'd think that they would be valued a little higher. That's my thought process, especially if you have not only your streaming rights, other sports, and the Nationals as well. But again, not an expert.
Yeah, it feels like we're us not, well, I was going to say not being trained businessmen, which is the number one sign that you're not a good businessman when you label it that way. But like, if the Baby Birds went on a run this year, like, would that actually do anything to their value? Like, you'd like to think no, like, but I don't know. They just started what seems like an awesome window in Baltimore that, I don't know, I would have like roll it out there for another year. If you win the World Series, I feel like you can add another 0 on there or something.
Yeah.
Not a schooled businessman, except my diploma.
From business school.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's a Bachelor of Science in Marketing, if you remember that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
There was a trade that went down a while ago that we did not cover because we were too busy drafting home runs. The Mariners acquired Trev's Jorge Polanco from the Twins. Twins received Justin Tapa, Disco, Gabe Gonza,
Hey.
and Darren Bowen, an unranked prospect, and cash money.
Say Gabe Gonza?
I like that already for him. That's good.
Yeah.
Good people in Minnesota. Trev, you're our Minnesota hookup.
Gago.
Did you get wind of this at Twins Fest?
I think everyone knew this was coming because I think there's more trades on the horizon for the Twins. They do have a lot of major league talent and, at the top of the farm system talent that it's creating a logjam, whether it's on the 40-man or just playing time in general. Polanco, I believe, has this year and then an option. So they could keep him around, which is good, but they have Eder Julian there, man, my guy. Who kind of demands playing time, and the only spot for him is second base. He's got a lot of work to do defensively there, but I think he's got the mentality to put the work in. So Polanco was expendable, not in the way that he just wasn't going to bring value to the Twins, but there just wasn't room. You have to create room sometimes, and I think that this trade was on the horizon for a long time. I don't mind the package. I think it's pretty dang good. Topa's a guy that I watched last year and was really impressed with. Discofani's gonna add some rotational depth, which I also believe the Twins needed. They need that like 5th, 6th starter there because injuries do happen, and some of the guys that they're counting on haven't really produced 150, 175 inning seasons yet. So like they need that depth. You get the prospect as well. So I don't mind the package coming back. I think that they got better. I think their bullpen is going to be really, really good. And they got another guy. They also signed Jay Jackson that came over from the Blue Jays. So like they're stacking their bullpen. I think that's going to be a point of emphasis for the Twins this year. And Julian, the way he's hit, man, I think that him and Polanco, it's kind of, you could say that's just kind of a wash essentially because Polanco's a hell of a player too. But I think the Twins got better. On the Mariners side, like Polanco is a guy that's switch hitter, going to give you great at bats. If he stays healthy, he's going to hit 20 homers. He's going to play solid defense. He's going to be a guy that I said this before, a guy that you just want at the plate in big situations because he doesn't care. Like he's good in those situations, a good heart rate guy, if you will. So I think this was
one of my heart
again.
rate
I think
now?
let me see. I think this was like known from Twins fans, like this is gonna happen. And I think, like I said, there's still some more like outfield pieces that the Twins would probably have to deal off because they just don't have room for these guys. So considering the fact that Twins didn't have what I would consider, consider nice, a ton of leverage, I think the haul, if you will, is pretty good.
Yeah, I guess the other part of this is like the Twins kind of like we just talked about the NL Central and the Brewers kind of look at things differently. Like the Twins also, we're going to focus on the major league guys, obviously, but the Twins brought in some prospects and stuff. Like I think Jimmy's Gago is a top 100 prospect. Like they, you bring in some innings with Descalfani, but they're trying to like reload on the fly, which like you're saying with Polanco being slightly dispensable because of Eddie Julian. I don't know. If one of those guys does click, you look back as a Twins fan and it's like, hey, we double cashed in a little bit.
87 beats per minute. When you said my name, it jumped up to 89. That's crazy.
Makes sense.
You are arousing, Jake.
The Mariners, I'm interested to get you guys' opinion on it, if you don't mind me asking. I don't know. I thought I was going to be like, oh, Mariners, like, I don't know. I haven't been enthused with their offseason. Man, you wish there was another guy in the lineup that you're like, hey, they can pop with Julio. Like, we know Julio can win the MVP this season. I'm not saying it has to be someone like that, but the lineup is extremely balanced. And, someone like Mitch Haniger, who's now listed as their 8-hole, like their lineup looks balanced and deep, which is nice. And you pair that with the rotation. They also sneaky traded for Gregory Santos over the weekend that it's like, okay, so do they have a deep balanced lineup and really good pitching? Like I haven't loved the Mariners recipe this offseason, but when I looked at it, I was kind of, okay, Mariners. Like I didn't see what they were going for at first, and I was frustrated with their offseason, and now I kind of see it, and I'm like, all right.
Well, I had similar reaction. I was just like, oh, okay. And I don't know. It doesn't feel like the ceiling offensively is crazy high, but it also doesn't feel like it's crazy
floor doesn't
low.
seem bad,
It looks like a bunch of solid MLB guys. That
Long lineup.
it's above average ceiling. Like I'm not saying it's just
Right.
going to be like a lot of guys that can help. I don't know where all the damage is going to come from if they have it. But then when you mix it with their rotation, which I think is awesome, like one of my favorite rotations in baseball, I like what they're doing. I am interested to see how that lineup plays off of each other. It is balanced. Like you get a switch hitter in Polanco now.
Him and Cal in the middle of the lineup, dude. Switch hitters are huge.
Well, they went away from him for a while. Now I think they're, I don't know, maybe getting back to it. I'm not in charge of switch hitters.
Who is in charge of switch hitters?
I just don't want to speak on it like I'm an authority on it.
Well, look, the starting pitching first in WHIP last year, this is what Mariners fans have told me on X. Nice. Is that the Mariners are a reliever factory. So they don't care. They'll just toss relievers in trades because we'll just build another one in our lab. That's essentially what they've told me.
Want to know what every fan base on a good team thinks about their team? This is becoming a cliche. Reliever factory. I mean, that's what Yankees fans tell themselves. That's what I bet there's 10 fan bases out there that right now. I thought we were the reliever factory because
there can be multiple factories. Jim.
I know, but I don't think people realize that like so many teams say that. It's kind of
a lot more teams.
It's almost becoming like we play down to our competition. It's like like everyone does. Okay. Like relievers are it's the most volatile position in sports. It's very easy to have a good year and then be awful. So you don't hang on to them. You do trade them around. Like that's kind of like the game.
Yes.
But I'm not denying that they are good at building up relievers. I think a lot of fan bases are taking pride in the very same thing right now. And I think it's more of just a wave through baseball and driveline and stats.
I mean, that's the thing. Is we've talked about this on the show before. It's everyone can be a reliever factory because it's so easy to make adjustments for pitchers now, dude. And it's so quick. Like if you have some people that see like a certain thing in a guy, like we saw with Robert Stevenson last year in fucking Tampa, dude, like these guys can make adjustments at a lightning quick pace now. So, man, if you're a reliever and you're not just setting up in front of cameras every fucking day, you're doing it wrong. Like get there and figure some stuff out. Get your data where it needs to be. All right.
You know who I watched?
I don't know.
You know who I watched pitch recently? Jake Sanchez. For in the Caribbean series.
Okay.
He's from California. How about that? And you know what? I liked his stuff. Now,
Nice.
He blew the save, and Panama won. But he was mixing his two-seam. I hated it, pitch calling. But his stuff, go get him. He's 34, so maybe not. Never pitched in the bigs, though.
Yet. Jim Morris.
Never even been on a big league team, it looks like.
Well.
Fuck yeah. Jake, good for you.
Get a minor league deal.
He's been playing professional baseball for 11 years. Never
Was he
even
nasty.
Dude, he's never even been part
of.
of an organization. Oh, wait. San Diego Padres and Oakland. What am I looking at? I'm so dumb. Dumber than Jake
So
Sanchez.
what happened here?
I'm saying
Yeah,
I
I don't
like
know.
I
I'm
was
lost.
watching him and I was like, this dude's got good stuff.
We've gotten that part, but
Someone
you just
could
told
do-
us he's never been a part of major league organization, and then you said, well, Padres and A's. So it's just a little...
But then I said,
recently?
how dumb am I? So I took
Right,
the onus on that.
But there was, instead of explaining where he was, you just said, how dumb am I?
I just didn't look at the sheet.
Okay.
I had blurry eyes or
Do
something.
you have what years he was in either organization? Just as a point of curiosity.
He was with the White Sox in 2013.
White Sox too.
Rookie ball. And then the Oakland A's
I'm out,
from
I'm out.
2014 to 2018. And then the Padres in 2023.
I was a teammate with this guy. What's his name?
Jake Sanchez.
You know two-seamer Jimmy likes?
I don't know, man. Sinkers are back. Everyone knows that.
Sinkers are back. Full name Jacob Sanchez.
Love that.
You were a teammate with him?
I don't know. I was with the A's during that time that you mentioned.
Well, he was in
2017.
A ball.
Well, he could have been at spring training. Saw me posting up in the corner with Matthew Chapman.
Yeah, he could have been. He was at AAA there. Heart rate
This
down to
guy's got
78.
No chance. Okay.
Relaxed.
I do like this quote from the Mariners GM, Justin Hollander. I personally made more calls on this trade than I ever have on any trade before at the behest, love that word, of both my own want to add Polanco and our groups.
Okay.
So nice word. And also,
a
how
little
many
much.
trades you made, bro?
That's a little much.
Like, how long has Justin
Dipoto
Hollander been the
show.
GM?
I'm never going to drink again.
Behest?
Depoto's, let's go. Come on.
How many
You
calls?
made the phone calls for Depoto, right?
I don't know. I didn't like that.
He was promoted to GM October of 22. So like we're approaching a year and a half on the job.
So like not.
I
that
know
many
Depoto's
trades.
like the head guy, and like everybody,
Yes.
everybody makes certain calls. And
Are we
not
out on
others.
Justin Hollander just like that?
He's like,
Not yet,
he not
but-
yet, but I mean, he's leaning pretty close. Come on, dude. Be cool about it. Like, act like you've traded before.
No one in
Should
Seattle
take the
says
lead
the
on
word
some more
behest.
trades, man.
Behest?
Yeah, no one in Seattle uses that. No chance. It's not. I don't think that's like a articulate language city. I don't think Well, I'm just saying it's a West Coast city. We're not formal on the West Coast. I'm including California in that. No one in California says the word behest.
Okay.
Okay.
Saved it a little bit.
in
I saved
Ohio.
myself right there.
A little bit. God. Just when Seattle was kind of letting you off the leash, now you're back on, dude.
No, they need me because I got the Polanco juice.
Yeah, the guys up in Seattle don't really use fancy words.
Do you think they do? Like they're worried about climbing and hiking and spelunking and all that, those things. Like behest is not part of that.
down to
Justin
70.
Hollander graduated from Ohio State in 01, got his JD from the University of San Diego in 04.
Okay, so this guy also should not be using that word.
Well, what about like there's a lot of poets.
Why don't you just
Artists.
use whilst while you're at it?
Like there's a whole like artist
should drop a
community, and they
whilst.
like using words that
Gosh, that's a good point,
normal
James.
people
dang it.
don't. Okay.
Like slam poetry.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it rains so much that you get sad.
Mm.
You have to talk about it.
I mean, he's using early settler language, which is like, come on. This is the West Coast.
Say the quote again.
I personally made more calls on this trade than I ever have on any trade before, at the behest of both my own want to add Polanco and our groups.
At the behest of my own want.
A fortnight of calls.
That's nuts. How about Mike Elias saying, I pursued this with dogged determination? Now, that's a sports guy.
Yeah.
He's a dog.
That's sports talk.
These guys are having writers now. They're having writers script out their statements.
No, dogged's a good word. That's not fancy.
It is a good word.
Having or showing tenacity and grim persistence.
I think
Yeah, like a
dogged
dog
would
going
be-
after a bone.
Is it related to dogs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
You'd think it would
That's
say
not
that
a
in the
common-
description.
It's not a commonly used word.
I think it is in like football.
It's a
Dogged.
big
I think like
scouting report
football
word.
coaches, yeah, it's sports. It's a sport, yeah.
Well, I
yeah.
think you're getting it confused
Sports
with
writer
dog. Like,
word.
that guy's a dog.
No,
Yeah, I don't know how
think-
related it is with
like
dog.
dogged pursuit is.
I think we're
I
just
think that's
making
two
that
words
assumption because
It makes one.
It's close enough for me.
dogs can pursue. I don't think it is. I'm not seeing anything about dogs.
I'll go to
I mean,
etymology.
Jake, what are you talking about? The root word is dog and dogged. Let's. It
Especially in
definitely
reference
is.
to hounds seeking game in the hunt.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
From
Dogged,
etymology.
adjective.
Yeah.
Having the qualities of a dog, meaning persistent, silently abstinent. Dog.
Nothing
yeah.
to do with nothing to do with that.
Silently
With the-
Nothing to do with
abstinent?
dogs.
Obstinate. I don't know that word. Silently obstinate.
Every sentence we've just done, we find a new word we don't
From
know.
1779. But it's a big sports like recruiting or like scouting. Dogged.
Okay.
Because it means they're not going to
like
give up.
Onus is a huge.
Dogged
It's only
pursuit.
used in the sports
Yeah.
section.
Dogged pursuit. Okay.
Mariners
Obstinate
finished
is
what in the
stubbornly
AOS
refusing.
this year?
Third. But maybe that gets them a wild card.
Obstinate
I'm gonna
means
go second.
stubbornly refusing to change one's opinion or chosen course of action. Say stubborn.
Dogged.
Anything else you want to go over some of the other moves? Justin Turner, congratulations, you're a Blue Jay. I think the red is going to
good.
play off well in the uniforms. I wanted to make sure I said that. It did great with Dodger blue. I think it's the Blue Jays uniforms, similar color palette.
Don't
So-
they have a little red that do they show the Canadian flag or the
On
maple
Canada,
the
I
leaf
believe
is
they
red
go-
or
they go
something?
red.
Yeah,
oh,
they-
and I think
there's
they
some
have
red
that
there.
accent. Yeah.
That's nice.
Dude, I think their Canada Day jerseys, the red, some of the best jerseys in baseball.
Okay.
So
Get a
congratulations,
lefty-
Justin Turner.
What's going on with the fucking Blue Jays?
Get a lefty,
Ain't-
Toronto.
Angel signed Aaron Hicks. Congratulations, Aaron Hicks. You came back home. Twins, Carlos Santana, which is another. I told you they already had too many people. Like Alex Kirilloff's supposed to play first base. Now Carlos Santana's playing first base. What are they going to do? I think there's more trades to come there.
Justin Turner DH?
Ross Stripling's going to
Yeah.
quit baseball because he
Probably
got
play some
traded
third this
to EAs.
Chicken strips. So sorry. Maybe he gets to keep his apartment.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Probably.
He's not going to move to Oakland.
I don't know where he was living.
There's good.
Probably-
There's nice neighborhoods in Oakland, but also having your car broke into is legal. So not legal, but they don't do anything. about it.
Alameda. A lot of people
Both
say
help.
there.
My younger sister lived in Oakland for a while. Her apartment got broken into twice. It was like the safest neighborhood in Oakland.
Piedmont? Is that the
Right by the lake. Blanking.
I didn't know there was a lake in Oakland.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's actually pretty.
Really?
I mean, the
The
actual
whole ocean
like,
thing. I knew that.
well, the ocean isn't pretty around there. You got to go up north more.
Okay.
Always been a geography pod.
Hey, Mets got some relievers.
Like
Congratulations, guys.
Merritt?
Fill in the pen.
It's like Merritt in Oakland?
Could be. It sounds right. Marin County? That's not Oakland at
I
all.
believe
Yeah,
it.
like Merritt. Yeah.
I'd believe it.
Otto, Fuji, and Diekman. There's a dinner squad.
Sending some angles at you.
Yeah,
My
that's like
God.
my nightmare right there.
Yeah, that actually
I faced
sucks.
Ottavino in spring training one time, and I swung at a pitch that like landed in the left-hander's batter's box, and I don't want fucking
that
any part of
stinks.
that. Spring training, I haven't seen a slider in months, and all of a sudden I get Ottavino thrown behind me. Oh, thanks.
Rays signed Phil Maton, 0.8 ERA this year.
Still no
perfect
contract details on
season.
that, I think, right?
The Rays quit.
And the fact that you said the Rays like aren't impressive to you, you know better than
They
to
have
say
you where they
that.
want
Jake.
you.
What? People are out on the Rays. No one cares about them anymore.
Yeah, perfect. Good job, guys.
That's not to say they're not going to be good, Trev. It's just their polish of being fun and copied is out. People want to be like the Orioles now. They want to rebuild and have like a fun, lively fan base and young stars that will stick around, not play in front of 5,000 people on a Tuesday cheering on guys you don't even know.
You know what? I'm going to be, I think, in Tampa early season. So I'll be at the Trop rooting my Rays on. How about that?
Doubt it.
Are you there representing the Twins? I don't think you can root for the Rays.
I don't know how that works anymore. I need to
Definitely
probably ask that
not
question.
supposed to be rooting for the Rays.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
If they're not playing each other, what does it matter?
Early April, I'm going to be at the Trop. Go Rays, go, as the
Go
Minnesota
Pirates, I
Twins
don't know.
sideline reporter.
I'm not. First of all, I'm an analyst.
Sorry.
Not biased.
I
Not that
liked
that's
when
a
they
big
let
deal.
you play Rover last year. You're in the booth.
I
You're
didn't,
on the
so-
field.
Yeah.
That makes one of us because I was not about that life. I would
5
literally.
minutes having a new
I
job.
told them. I said, "There's one thing that I want you guys to like know. I'm not gonna get down on my knee and hold the microphone up to Rocco's face for 10 minutes during the scrum. I'm not doing that anymore. That I would have like elbow pain because I'd have to hold the microphone for like 10 minutes. And I know that doesn't seem like a long time, but try to hold your arm out for 10 minutes with a microphone, people, and tell me how it feels.
Full agree. 1 minute adds up.
That's how Kev lost his arm on our social
Yeah,
team.
so I'm out. Not my duties
Scrums are
anymore.
terrible anyway. I went into Brendan Hyde's scrum once as a joke for like 2 seconds. I just said, boring.
Yeah.
This guy's lying to all of you.
Dick Bremer was
And you're asking questions you don't
unbelievable
care
in the
about.
scrum.
I think that's the episode.
Sound off.
Who's your favorite Mariner?
Put some words in the comments that we should start using.
George Kirby's my favorite Mariner in the landslide.
Landslide?
Oh, dude, he's like one of my favorite pitchers in all of baseball to watch pitch.
Julio? JP Crawford gets mentioned.
Starting
every
pitchers
show.
are more, you watch them more.
You do love
I can't tell if I'm like more in on Julio or I'm out on Julio. Because everyone's in on Julio, so I can't really be.
Just jumped up to 91.
Cal Raleigh.
Did the music get me going?
Big dump.